Next item is pop-up poetry, and our next guest is Dana Dajani. Dana is an award-winning Palestinian writer, performer, and advocate. She lives and works between the Middle East and Europe with bases in both Amman and London. Her work as an actress, trainer, and consultant has taken her around the world, from performing at the Sydney Opera House and the Guggenheim Museum to creating drama therapy program for children with autism in UAE, where she was honored as Emirates Woman Artist of the Year and received the Young Arab Award for Entertainment, along with other recognitions. She's known for her original spoken word poetry and has a background in theatre that has informed and influenced her writing. I am personally so excited to hear Dana sum up what she has heard tonight. So over to you, Dana.
Thank you so much, Peter, for introducing me. Thank you so much to all of the panelists and everyone in the conference who presented. I know that I will leave you inspired and with a sense of hope and power. As Peter mentioned, I do spoken word poetry, and I tend to focus on social justice themes. And thanks to an introduction from Hiba to Liz, I've been here the last 2 days, and I've been witnessing and recording poetic reflections, and I want to just dive straight into them. They're unfiltered, and I just want to reiterate that this is all recorded from what was heard in the conference. Here we go. So who are the humanitarians? I believe they are here. And what do they know? That even in our confined spaces, we can still connect, grow, be here for each other. So those who stood out, stepped up, showed up to serve the greater global community, those who showed up to receive and engage and participate, those who organized and programmed within this conference and throughout their careers, thank you. You've inspired me here, and I'm sure many others over the years. You are paving the way. And you will leave this conference today with stories, many stories. Share them, spread them. Don't be diplomatic. Tell these stories from the heart. Hit the hammer on the nail. Don't beat about the bush, just start. Say it as it is. Focus on what needs care. Be real, raw. People are suffering here. What can we do to help? Be a mediator, not a rescuer. Share stories of resilience, not images of destruction. Pay respect to leaders, future, past, and current. Preserve and share indigenous knowledge. Passed down through oral tradition over generations of living in close contact with nature. Specific to local environments, it will improve living conditions there. Indigenous knowledge is no oxymoron, informal, alternative, ancient, inapplicable. Quite the opposite. It is dynamic, emergent. It is the ongoing process of learning to adapt new ways and innovative solutions to current issues based on data we have collected through our lived experiences. Ubuntu, collaborative, collective, working mindset, improvisational and inclusive, to challenge development, transform it. Keep in mind, those with the problems are usually a few steps ahead in identifying solutions, so let go of quick fixes, let go of orders given, top down. The voices to lead us are present on the ground. They understand the landscapes of their issues. We honor their intelligence, their dignity, their agency and wisdom, and pledge to support them by providing the assistance desired to implement their own solutions. Because those indigenous are not separate from the rest of us. We are all indigenous to this third planet from the sun. We're all local to somewhere, even in the globalization era. So what do you bring to the pot of collective wisdom? Innovate has been a buzzword I'm sure that we're all sick of, but what of the hubris of that potential aim? Yes, we're all problem solvers, but let's not give in to a cliche. I ask you to consider humanitarians, to take some time to ask, understand, what is the intelligent already present in the space, the context? Can you tune in? That is ethical listening. And can you value the courage and sometimes the price of speaking up? We do what we can to force the space that wasn't there naturally, to create interactions that are deliberate and meaningful, intentional inclusion of speakers and listeners, stakeholders and donors, dissidents and proponents. Starting at the bottom and responding to the needs of the people isn't such a unique concept, but it will define success. It will create an environment centered on solutions, an open, free space, huge optimism. Someone hears us, hey, endless possibilities and outcomes, and eventually change. Can we humanitarians recognize our privilege, make a personal commitment to listen from the heart with all of our presence? Not letting language be a barrier, listening beyond words to energy, emotion, personality, disruptive and unquiet. Sure to also make space for the people in the room who don't naturally jump to take the stage. Trust that everyone has something wise to say. Engage in a meaningful way. Listen to, care. There are so many willing to share their stories. Who are the humanitarians? You might recognize yourself among this crew. Are you the rabbit who works to prevent food scarcity? The tortoise who works for peace? The hare who protects and keeps safe? The parrot with her intelligence? The nightingale who alleviates suffering with song and ceremony? Or perhaps the eagle who negotiates and mediates agreements? Ours is the story of global justice. We who believe in the power of the individual to influence an institution, influence a single life, influence the world for the better. We stand together with others as a collective when meeting with threats, emergencies, when meeting our goals. The humanitarians have a willingness to carry a heavy load, share the cost and burdens of taking care of those in need, with a commitment to protecting the vulnerable, domestically and internationally. The humanitarians see in all people the potential for vulnerability. This links us together, the source of our sameness. We know that we're all capable of coming into harm's way, and this is the source of our empathy. It drives our power we express solidarity with the stigmatized. We seek to listen, set our judgments, biases, and preconceived ideas aside to understand another point of view. And this allows us to identify and feel with all vulnerable groups. A moral imagination helps us to set aside the analytic and theoretical and use our creative thinking and patience to listen, cultivating compassion and empathy. Could you walk a mile along someone else as they wear their own shoes on their own journey? This is what it is to choose solidarity. Beyond a feeling, action rooted in responsibility, an invitation to use our moral imagination to engage with a capable collective and build towards the same goal. So we equip ourselves, protect our spirits. We create a map of our vision. A map in hand is a key to come back to regularly. Perhaps it grows with us organically to represent the experiences that we're living. We will decolonize the humanitarian ecosystem by paving the way for all people to actively participate in deciding our children and grandchildren's fate. The humanitarians are resilient. We lead in crisis, humble pilots. A humanitarian is a catalyst, not a savior complex, led by humility, curiosity, impartiality. We respect everyone's inherent dignity. Led by our values, we set boundaries. We don't compromise ideals to meet a donor's expectation or trade excellence for ethics. We say no to what doesn't align with our mission, and we support each other through the process of development. What are the principles of our partnership? Shared humanity, equality, solidarity. I think I've gone over time. Maybe this is a good pausing point.
Dana, that was just truly incredible. Thank you so much. Really appreciated, and I'm sure if you could see the audience, there'd be a huge amount of applause for those incredible words. We are very close to time, so I'd just like to once again thank the panel and now hand over to Mariana for some closing remarks. Thanks, Mariana.